Hello everyone, welcome back to the second of our Whimsical Houses tutorial. Yesterday we did house number 1, today we are doing house number 2. And if you haven't seen house number 1, go back to yesterday's video and you will see how we did that. And if you want the line art for the 3 houses, that's also in yesterday's video description. So in house number 1's video description is the link to a PDF where you will get the free line art to draw the houses. And I don't mind what you do with them. If you want to make cards, pictures or whatever, feel free. You don't need to ask me permission. You don't need to add my name to it. Just please use as you like. Today we're on house number 2. And if you didn't see what we were using yesterday, I'll have a quick run over with you. I am using black Winsor & Newton ink, waterproof ink for the initial lines. And to put that on, I am using a dip pen. Now, this is a different one from yesterday's. This is my rainbow pen. Pretty, isn't it? And I think this is the one that my daughter got me, although the one that I purchased myself was also a rainbow pen. But I do believe that this is the one that my daughter got me because the reverse side is black. And I think my one goes all the way around. But anyway, very good for doing this with ink if you're using the ink. If not, you can use fine liners. As long as they're permanent and waterproof, you can use those. And this one actually comes with a little glass breast. So that's really cute. Very inexpensive. I got those from Amazon. Brushes today I am using, same as I used yesterday, which is my large number 10. This is a Daler Rowney Aquafine brush. Probably not going to use that until I do the sky. Otherwise, it's mostly going to be round number 5 and a teeny tiny spotter brush. This is a Daler Rowney one, graduate brush number 5, and that's just to get into the detail, the smaller parts of the picture. And I'm also going to be using the 3 coloured inks that I was using yesterday, and that is a green and it's almost like a burnt orangey red kind of colour, and a lovely blue colour. So again, you don't need to have these. I just chose to do the details once the painting was done with some coloured inks because I wanted to try them rather than putting the black everywhere. I wanted to try the coloured inks. So that is what I'm going to be using. Paints exactly the same for all 3 houses, and it's just 4 colours. We have got an olive green. These are Winsor & Newton Professionals. This is olive green, burnt sienna, raw sienna, and this is a mix of Prussian blue and sap green, permanent sap green, to get a lovely teal colour like we've got on the door there. So just 4 colours of paint and a fine liner or some ink, and you too will be able to recreate these lovely little houses. And very much a fun thing to do if you've got no other ideas for what you want to do. These are nice, quick and easy, and lots of fun. And you can, of course, draw your own houses. These are whimsical houses, so nothing's kind of perfectly straight. You know, there's maybe windows where they shouldn't be, and you can just add as much as you want. You know, wonky doors, chimneys, whatever you want. You can even put little animals in if you wanted to draw the street. You could do that. I'm going to do the 3 houses. I'm not going to add a street, but I am going to add a blue wash for the background for the sky. So, without further ado, I'm going to get on and I'm going to ink up this line art. Now, this pencil it's on there quite strong. Normally, when I do watercolour, I would erase some of that before I applied the watercolour. But in this case, because we're applying ink, it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over with the ink and then we're going to erase the pencil lines before we apply the paint. So if there's anything on there that you want to water, you might want to add another window, or, you know, yesterday I added a little bit of smoke and plant and so on. You can do that as well. So you can change things and alter them before you get rid of all your pencil marks. So let's get on with that. Okay, so if you've not used a dip pen before, it's really, really simple. I'm just going to dip my pen in 3/4 of the way up the nib. Wipe off any excess, so about that far. and it will run for quite a while. You'll be quite surprised. So I'm going to start this line art, and we're just going to follow the pencil. And like I said, if you want to make any changes to the line art as you go, just feel free. These were just 3 little houses I've drawn, just made it up as I went along. So just carefully, or not carefully, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, I went out of my lines so many times yesterday, and quite a few times. It really doesn't matter, because they are just little whimsical houses. And if you do line and wash anyway, you'll know it doesn't. I mean, some people actually do the wash and then add the line completely after. So nothing is in the lines. And I like that look too. So I will apologise in advance if you hear my dog. She's barking at fresh air at the moment, and she's in the same room as me. I have just told her to quieten down, but she's got a bit of a bee in her bonnet this morning. So when I was doing this line art yesterday, I didn't add the bricks in the black because I wanted to use the coloured ink. So I will be leaving some possibly parts out of this one so that I can add them in later. So that's the bottom part more or less done. I'll do this window here. So yesterday I had her snoring all the way through the video, and today I've had her barking at fresh air. So the joys of owning a dog. And up the sides of the little roof. And oh, there's a dog outside barking, so she might start again in a moment. And my pen is just running out of ink there. So you see you can get quite a bit done before you have to re-dip the pen. These are great for writing with as well, I have to say. They're as good as a fountain pen. And it doesn't take long at all to fill this in with the ink. Add the little slates to the roof. I really hope you will have a go. And I don't want anyone to go out and buy new art supplies, like I said yesterday. You know, if all you've got is the watercolour and black ink or a fine liner, that is absolutely fine. I think art is expensive enough as it is, and you can absolutely get a great result with, you know, the basics. So please don't go buying any supplies. Right, I'm going to do the little slates or shingles or whatever they are on the roof here. And it's really quick, as you can see, to get this done. I mean, you can take your time as well, of course. But sometimes I think these little whimsical houses are better if you don't take your time, you know. They're meant to be a bit lopsided and a bit messy, and that's the whole joy of it, really. And there we go. So all that's left to do is a little bit of stone up here. And let me know down in comments if you've actually used one of these dip pens before and if you like them. I know there was a whole, about 2 years ago, wasn't it? There was a whole thing about them and people going on about them. I didn't actually take much notice of them then, to be honest. But I think for line and wash, it's great. Right, I'm going to put these little steps in. Now, if you haven't seen yesterday's, you won't know, but once the painting and the coloured inks go on, I like then to go over again with the black. It seems to just make it pop a little bit more to go back over with the black. So I do like to do that. Now, I am not going to put these lines in here because I want to put those in with coloured ink. So I think that for the most part I am done now with the outlining. Just go over those a bit more. And you can see how wobbly. I'm at a funny angle because of my camera. But you can see how wobbly my little lines are. I've made these ones wobbly on purpose down the bottom, but yeah, I'm not perfectly straight. I've gone out of the lines in a lot of places, and this one was extra wobbly there, but it all adds to the effect, you know. It's great. So I will just rinse off my ink because I am done with that, and they're really easy to clean. You just swirl them about in some clean water, and then I sometimes give them a little wipe with a damp cloth, and for the most part it's clean. So you've got to be careful, obviously. You don't want to break the tip of it, and that's why it's got that lovely little rest there. So now I will go and change my water in a minute because obviously I've got a lot of black ink in there and I don't want to get that contaminating my watercolours. Now I'm just going to erase the lines, including the little lines that I want to put in with the coloured ink because they're going to be really simple to put back in. So I'm just going to go over with an eraser and take all the pencil work out. It's always quite satisfying to do that, I think. Something down there. I don't want this pencil to show through the paint, so I'm going to get off as much as I can. I know it looked quite dark, but it was actually soft pencil, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get off. I should have used my kneadable eraser really, because it didn't make as much mess, but there we go. I haven't hoovered yet today, so it's all good. And there we go. I'm just going to go and change my water, and I will come back and we will get the colour on there. See you in a moment. Okay, so I'm back. I've got some nice clean water for my paints, and where shall we begin? Anywhere really. Now I think I want to keep the roofs of the houses the same colour, and I'm going to change up everything else. So I'm going to take my number 6 brush and I'm going to wet it, and I'm going to go into the burnt sienna. Now I did say yesterday, when you rinse out your brush, try to dry it off a little bit. I've got a cloth here, and I just, once I've washed my brush, I'm drying it on the cloth before I'm going into my next colour, because I don't want to add any more water to the washes that I've got. Okay, sorry about that. The dog started barking. My partner came down from his office, but he did make me a lovely cup of coffee, and I had a chocolate finger, so it was worth it. Anyway, where was we? Right, okay. So, we're gonna come into the burnt sienna, and I'm gonna put a layer of burnt sienna just on these little tiles up on the rooftop here, on the little finial, and down this side. And as you can see, I'm not being particularly neat and tidy about it. Up on the chimney, and then down on this roof, because I do want the roofs to be similar. So a bit of a nice wash of this burnt sienna on the roofs here. think about where else I want it. I want it on the little window ledges. And down the bottom ones. And I think on this brickwork, with these little, I nearly said trees, they're like, I think they're meant to be like little papyri balls. So I think that's all the burnt sienna I'm going to do. Now we are going to come back over and rinse out my brush, and I'm going to just dry it off on my cloth so that I'm not transferring more water into my washes. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to come in with this lovely teal colour now, and I am going to do, let me think about this now. I'm going to do the main part of the house in this lovely teal colour today. Just pick up some more of that. There we go. And while I've got that on my brush, I am going to come up to the window up the top, and I'm going to do the surround of the window and the little ledge as well. I'm going to rinse off my brush, take off the excess water, and now I'm going to come into the raw sienna, and I'm going to do the edge of the roof. I am going to do the little window frame, and I am going to do the door. And I think I will do the steps as well. And the only colour we haven't used, of course, is the lovely green colour. So I'm going to wash off my brush, take off the excess, and I'm going to come into this lovely olivey colour green, and we're going to do this one. And the door frame. And then the little bushes on the house. I'll rinse out my brush, dry it off a second, and I'm just going to wait now for those to dry. So while we're waiting for those to dry, I think you can see, even though it's the same colours, it's going to look completely different, which is nice. But you know, they all tie in together, but they're just different. We're just doing different areas. So I have forgotten the windows, so I'll have to come back in and do those now. otherwise they're not going to dry. So for the windows, I'm just coming back in to my palette with the same blue, but I'm going to dip it into my water so that it's much, much weaker, the wash, and it will just give us a bit more than that, a lighter value of that blue for the windows. So same blue, but just a weaker wash. And we can even do the little one in the door. There we go. Now we can wait for it to dry. It's a bit premature there. So drying off my brush. And as we did yesterday, once that's dry, we're going to come back over with the paint again, just darkening up some of the areas. Like yesterday, we did a few of the tiles on the roof, and we added a bit more to the door frame and to a couple of places here, just to give a little bit of a different value. So that shouldn't take, my room is quite warm, so it shouldn't take too long to dry. Let me know in the comments if you've painted house number 1. I'd really like everyone to have a go at this, because it's, they're so easy, and they're just comical, aren't they, really? I mean, you could add little people, you could add birds on the roofs, you could add the whole entire street. I think I probably will be doing more of this sort of thing, because it's just a nice way to relax. I mean, I love doodling the houses to start. That just happened by chance. I was doodling away in my sketchbook, and I just began drawing houses. And once I'd done one, I thought, right, let's do another one and see how different we can make it. And it just kind of happened. I did alter them up a little bit before I put them into my watercolour pad. This, by the way, is 100% cotton. It is my good one. But if you don't have 100% cotton, don't be put off. Have a go. They're fun. They're just fun. I did say yesterday, and I probably will do this actually. I will put a mount around it when it's done, and sign it and stick it in a frame. And they make great housewarming gifts, wouldn't they? I just think they're nice little fun things to do. Now I think we are for the most part dry. Certainly the terracotta roof is dry. So I'm going to come back into my burnt sienna, and I'm just going to pick out a few, like we did yesterday on the first one, a few of the tiles, and just go over just a few. You don't have to do any particular pattern. I might do every other one if I can. Sort of paint one and miss one. And yesterday's ones we did quite random, but I'm going to try and do every other one on this one. Don't know if it's going to work, but that's what I'm going to do. You could go over the whole roof if you wanted to. And where do I need to go here? There, and there, and there, and there. Maybe a little bit down there. I'm going to come back up on the chimney. I'm going to add a bit more colour to the chimney, just to make it a little bit darker than the little roof slates there. Add a little bit to the finial as well, to make that a little bit darker. And just down one side of the bricks at the front there. And also to the little window ledges. I want those to stand out a little bit more, so just add a little bit more there, like so. And rinse off. I'm going to come back into the olive green, and I'm just going to add a touch down the edges, just to make that a different value. And to give it a little bit more shape, I'll rinse off my brush and dry it a little bit. And I'm just going to soften the blend of those two so there's not a harsh line there. Fab. And I'm going to do the same thing with the teal blue. So dry off, come back into the blue, and I'm just going to go down the sides, under the little rooftop, down this side, and down this side. And then I'm going to rinse off, dry off a touch, and just soften the edge so there's not such a harsh line there. That will just help to blend it in a touch. Like that. There we go. And lastly, I'm going to go into the raw sienna, and I'm going to add another layer. I want that to be a little bit stronger there, and maybe every other step. And a touch just on the outside of the door there, like so. And I think for the most part now that I'm going to call done. Now we need to leave this to dry before we attempt to put any of the coloured inks on. So I will be back in a second. I'm going to give this a quick dry with my hairdryer and come back, and then we'll be applying some of these lovely inks just to finish off the detail on the house. And then finally I will come back over with my black ink just to make it pop. I mean, if you look, I think you can see, if you look where I've done the extra black ink on this one, it pops a little bit more than the one we've just painted. So that is the plan, and I will see you back in a second. Okay, so we are back. This is now nice and dry and ready for the coloured ink. I'm going to first come in with the red colour. And I am going to, just as I did with this one, I am going to add a little red line to the side of each of my roof tiles. And this is not meant to be a shadow or anything, it's just a little detail. It just makes it a little bit brighter, adds a little bit more interest to the roof. So just a little line, nothing special, just a little line to highlight the little tiles, as it were. Really quick, really easy. Okay, I am going to add a little tiny bit to the edge of slates on the roof. And the little finial on the top. To the side of the chimney. And to the edge of the window frames. And I think I will pick out just a couple of bricks. And let's fill in the little letterbox in the red as well. And that is it for the red. Wash off my pen. And now I'm going to come in with the green. It's a lovely colour green. And I'm just going to add some details to the little bushes. So some little dots and things. Again, this is meant to be just simple, easy details. And up on the top of the house, on the green, where these are stonework, as it were, I'm just going to add some little dots, just to indicate that that is meant to be stone. So just a few little dots on there, like that. And maybe add some down the little door frame, like that. Rinse off my pen, and I'm going to come into this lovely blue. It's a really nice colour, blue. And just in the little windows, like I did on this one, I'm just going to put a couple of tiny lines just to indicate that that is meant to be glass. So like reflection lines, and of course on the little door down there. And I think I'll add a few more little spots on the bushes there. And if you remember, I took away my lines, so I'm going to put the panelling back in with this lovely blue colour. Just really simply go across and add that back in there. Like that. Give a little bit more interest to the front of the house. And then finally, rinse that blue off of there. Dry that off a little bit. And then finally, like I said, as we did for this one before, I think you can see the difference of how this one pops. I'm just going to come back in with the black and make some of these lines a little bit stronger. So I'm going to come up the main lines of the house. Like that. I'm going to come over the edge of the roof. Like that. I'm going to do the windows, just to make those stand out a little bit more. I will come across there, do this window as well. I'll maybe come over the outside of this window. I will do the little chimney and the little finial. And I will go around the door and up the sides of this brickwork, across that main divide there. Maybe come around this as well. Little window in the door. And I think I'm going to add some little lights to the front. So I'm going to add, oops, need a bit more ink. I'm going to add a little half so like a little crescent and a little bulb or light coming out from under there. And that is it. House number 2 is finished. A little bit of detail to the curls. And I think you literally could just keep going, but I'm going to call that done. I'm really happy with how that came out. So just rinse off my dip pen for a second. And there we go. That is house number 2 finished. I think he's great. Like I say, you could add a little bird, or you could add people, you could add the entire street. Should we add some smoke to the chimney? I think we should. Let's just add a tiny little wisp of smoke coming out there just to finish him off. And that is done. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in comments if you are following along and if you've done house number 1. Let me know if you are using fine liners or ink. Yeah, just leave me a comment down below so I know there's people following along. And we've finished house number 1, we've finished house number 2. Tomorrow we will be on house number 3, and I hope you will join me for that. But until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye.